Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go through how I set up my trade copier. Did a video before about the trade copier I use and everything, but I'm going to go into detail on how I set it up and some things which people actually miss out and forget to do. Because with different brokers you have to have different settings and everything. I'm going to go through some things I've obviously made mistakes with the copier and pretty much how I set it up. So firstly, there are many different copiers out there, but I personally use Social Trader Tools. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not being paid to say this, but I do think they are a very good company to use, and I actually pay for 10 accounts. So I think it's around $120 a month, so around 1,400, something like that, £1,440 a year, which isn't too bad because one trade and that covers it. Obviously if you have larger accounts then that's not very much, but if you're trading with smaller accounts it's going to be a bit trickier to pay a larger amount, but obviously the fewer accounts then the cheaper it is to run. What I'm actually going to do is show you pretty much how I set up an account and link it to a copier so you guys can actually see that. So if we go into Social Trader Tools now, if you go into configurator, you have accounts, trade copier and email alerts. So we're going to go into these other two in a minute, but firstly if we're going to add an account we go into here, and then I'm just going to use one of my old FTMO accounts as an example, one of my funded ones. So firstly we've got MT4, let's just call it FTMO 123, just as an example. I go back, copy the login, then we also copy the password, paste that in, then we go down to select the broker. So obviously ours is FTMO, so we type in FTMO and we check the server 2, perfect, go back, server 2, add account, then it starts processing here, and then once it's actually linked then it will actually link to the Social Trader Tools platform. Hopefully this account actually links because it is an old account. As you see, I have many accounts on here for different funded programs, different prop firms to actually use, and you'll see that they're not active because they don't have the equity monitor on. But next thing what we want to do is actually go into Trade Copier. So into this bit here, you see I have 3 different copiers actually running right now, and if we press Create Copier, it gives you a drop down menu, so you can choose which account to copy it from and which account to actually send it to. So this copy from is the master account, and the send to is what's known as the slave account, so the account where the trades are being copied onto pretty much. So let's use this 200k FTMO account as an example, and let's say we're going to copy it to a 300k MFF, which is my Forex funds. So a lot of people actually say that you can do risk multiplied by balance, but I just do lot multiplier because I just think it's just a lot easier. I think it's exactly the same, but I personally use lot multiplier. So in this scenario here, this is 200k and this is 300k, so you got to think, okay, what do I multiply it by? So obviously you do a bit of quick maths in the head and you realize it is 1.5, because obviously 200k divided by 2 is 100k, 200k plus 100k is 300k, so I guess it's 1.5, right? I mean, if I'm wrong it's going to be very embarrassing in the comment section, but yeah, 1.5. And then this is important, copy existing trades, put this to yes, and then accept the terms and conditions and create copier. So the 200k FTMO, this one here, to the MFF 300k, go on the little settings icon. If it's got the red thing here, the copier isn't active, so you want to go in the little settings icon, and this is key because I've done it before where I'm like, why aren't the trades copying, what's it doing? I didn't even have the copier turned on, which is a very easy mistake to make, and a lot of people probably end up doing this. They think, oh, I've linked the copier, it's going to start copying the trades now. Nope, you have to go into the settings and manually turn it on. So in here you press on, very nice, and then obviously in the trade comment, if you're copying it over, then you can kind of say, I want this to be on each trade and that sort of thing. You won't be able to see it on your phone, I don't think, but you might be able to see it on the PC MT4 when it's actually copies across. But we're just going to leave this blank for the example, but we're going to press update. Then we go into risk settings and make sure everything here is okay. Some brokers, like if you're using FTMO, I think they have a max lot of 50 now. So let's say it calculates the position and it's meant to be above 50 lots, it just simply won't place the trade. So if you put a max lot at something, then it will make sure that obviously price doesn't go above that lot, or if there's something with your broker you can't use above a certain lot, or you don't want to use above a certain lot, you can set it to max lots of whatever you want pretty much. You could go up to 100, anything really. You can force the minimum lot as well, but I don't really use that. I don't change the slippage either. And then obviously this is what we actually did here. Reverse trades, do not put this on yes, because if you were buying it would simply just sell, and you don't want that to happen. So once you've put the settings in here, make sure the risk multiplier is fine. That is then when you press update. Then we go to stops and limits. This is where you got to make sure you've got this section sorted. Copy pending orders, yes. Stop loss, yes. Take profit, yes. And update. If you don't have this on, imagine you go to enter a trade and on the slave account, it doesn't actually copy across your stop loss or take profit. So the trades just, instead of losing 1%, you go into the account a few days later, the trades just run like 10-20% into drawdown. That just wouldn't be ideal. So make sure you've got the stop loss and the take profit ticked as yes, and obviously pending orders, if you're using limits, that's what you want as well to be ticked. Disable symbols, you can pretty much say, okay, let me guess, I don't want to have Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar, I don't want it to copy those trades. So then you can just untick that, so then no trades in that pair will be copied across, which is quite a nice feature. Let's say you have different contract sizes and you don't really want to trade it on the copier, or you have a strategy where you only want to trade it on one account, you can just disable the pair, so then it won't copy across to the other slave account. So here you can pretty much just choose whichever pairs you don't want to trade. And then if you go into map symbols, this is quite key. For the people that trade indices or stocks or crypto, sometimes they have different names. So let me see if they have an example on here. So you have US 500, and if you go on the other one, they have S&P 500. You'll often find if it has a different name like this, like US 500 and S&P 500, it won't recognize it and it simply just won't copy across. So annoyingly, you do have to manually go in and create the map for these. So let's say you trade US 30, I don't know, NAS 100, US 30, I already said that one, S&P 500. If you trade these, then you will have to go in and manually map the symbols. Obviously it won't take long, and then it just stays in there the whole time, but you will have to go in and edit this, because you don't want to enter a trade and then look back later and realize it didn't even enter because there's no US 500 dot cash on the other broker. They have it as S&P 500, or it could be US 500 dot TFF or .mff or whatever broker you're using, or prop firm. So they have like specific names for that. So it's usually okay with Forex pairs, it will just copy across anyway. But with indices, I found it just doesn't work. You have to create the map symbols for this for it to actually recognize which pair to actually enter the trade on. So that's pretty much it for the copier settings. Now if we go on to email alerts, you guys, if you have email alerts on for all of these, you are going to get absolutely spammed. Let's say even if you enter like a few trades a day, if you have like 2 or 3 accounts linked, it is unbelievable. The amount of notifications is just crazy. So it will send you a notification for the trade opening on one account, the trade opening on the second account, the trade closing on one account, closing on the second account, take profit hit, stop loss hit on both accounts. Or if you have like up to 10 accounts, you can have up to like hundreds or thousands of accounts, you will get spammed. So what I recommend you do is just go in here and untick them, unless you want notifications, of course. If you want to know, okay, the order has been filled, the trade is active, my take profit's hit, my stop loss is hit, you can have these emails. But the way I do it, I have quite a few accounts linked, it is just crazy amount of spam. So I just disabled them. And if you guys don't want to get spam with email notifications saying trade opened, trade closed, order filled, position open, I suggest you just turn it off, simply. But that is it for the settings. Obviously there's loads of other things, but I don't really think you need them. You can obviously do analysis on your accounts. You can look at it's got all the stats for your accounts as well. So it shows your win rate, your average risk to reward, everything like that. But we don't need to go into that in this video. Just a simple video on how I set it up. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Or if there are any other copy traders which you actually want me to try, trade copiers, drop them in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next video.